welcome to another episode of the E30 S54 Garageaholic build. Today we are doing some arc joint plasma cutting. And why are we doing that? Well, let's take a look at this. We're making some adapting brackets. We got to make 4 of these guys. So Dan is just smoothing out the metal after it's been cut by the plasma cutter. And these guys are for the roll bar. That's right. We are making custom-made backing plates that go on the opposite side of where this is actually getting installed. These two are for the wheel well, and of course, this big roll bar here is going to be installed inside the car. This is a 4-point roll bar, and we need to make the backing plates that are going to be through bolt, and there'll be nuts on the back side of those plates. We'll weld nuts to them to make it easy to install and remove, and then the roll bar should be installed. Now, if we do a quick flashback, you'll see some of the pictures of us fitting this roll bar into place prior to getting it powder coated, and it actually fits really, really nice. So I have no concerns about getting this thing fit. But we do need to do one more thing before we actually install it. And that is trim the carpet. We're gonna be trimming the carpet here and right over there for the footings. The wheel well sections are gonna be super easy. But we do need to trim the carpet in order to get that installed. I did have a minor concern of a little bit of an interference with this right here. This is the seat belt holder, but it looks like, taking a quick look at this, that there really isn't going to be any interference. Maybe it'll be a little tight there, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. I think we're going to be in great shape. So these are the backing plates that we've made here for the roll bar. We got 2 for the bottom main bar, and then these go on the those go on the wheel wells. You can see that they're a little bit curved to meet on the back side of the curvature of the wheel well. What we did was we've taken some M8 bolts and we've threaded them onto some flange nuts on the back side, and that's going to make it a lot easier for us to install them. As opposed to having a bolt and a nut, we're actually just going to have a bolt go through a welded nut. So we're going to weld all these nuts on. We don't need to do crazy with the welding. Just a couple of tacks is all that's really needed to keep these things on there and keep them strong enough. So let's weld these guys up, and then we can start plating them. Okay, we are plating our parts now. We are doing a CAD plating. You can see this looks pretty good. This is our 4th backing plate. The other 3 are up here, and they're looking pretty good. We've got our roll bar installed right here. Well, not quite installed. Made some room for the carpet. We still have to drill our holes, and then the backing plates will just go on the underside where it would just clamp it down. I think that's the best way to do this. But we are definitely keeping this as covered up as possible to prevent it from getting scratched at all. But this is actually fitting really, really nicely, so I'm pretty happy with this. We're gonna have to touch up some of the paint on the car, but that's not a big deal. Everything is fitting real nice and evenly. You can see that gap right there. You can kind of see the gap right there. Very similar gap to the B-pillar. And I think that now that we've got this position the way we want it, we can just kind of start drilling our holes, painting those holes so that we don't have any exposed metal. And then we're off and clamping it down for final installation. So now focusing on the rear speakers, we've completed the speakers. They've been painted black. We've got our new tweeters installed. These are components, so they got the 5 1/4 here, which it will have. And they fit directly in there actually. And then you have your tweeters there. We've got our wiring already set, and we've got these are our crossovers basically. They're kind of like a filter in there, and it connects the tweeter to the mid-range. And installing it is actually pretty simple. So let's just work on that right now.
So I figured I'd take a few minutes and take a look at the speakers, wire up the speakers. These are components. These are Kenwood Exelon 5 1/4 component speakers. These are the types of component speakers that don't have that big honking component filter separator box. It actually just it's all part of the harness that connects the tweeter to the mid-range. And these are the awesome speaker boxes. I mean, these just fit right into the quarter panels, and they are going to be amazing and be powered by our Kenwood amp.
Okay, so now it's time to install the front glass and the rear glass all the way over there. We're going to do the front first. Now, the front is going to be relatively simple. It's really not much. You definitely need a friend to help you here. When we take this all apart, you're gonna see that we're going to remove the plastic. We have our primer. This is our 3M primer. This is a 08682. And you use a daubing pad on, you don't really need to use it on this because this is already primed, but you will need to use it here, right? Because this is a freshly painted surface. So you have to put the primer around the entire perimeter. And then you put your actual polyurethane, which is the 08609. And you wanna have a really nice tall bead on there all the way around. And you're gonna be overlapping it on places where you need to, where you actually have to stop because you get tired or whatever, but you wanna overlap it in those locations. And then you literally just take the whole windshield and install it, and then you secure it. We have a windshield gasket here, and the windshield gasket is going to install around the perimeter of the windshield before we install it. You cannot remove the gasket once it's been installed. I mean, you can, but you'll never be able to install a new one without removing the entire windshield and then reinstalling. The back's a whole other story. We'll get to that next, but let's work on the front.
So we wanted to make sure we had our tip correct. It was a very specific cut, so we did some testing on some cardboard to make sure that we can get the height that we needed. And at first, I think we got a pretty good cut at it, so I think we're in good shape there. We unpacked the windshield and did a quick observation, used the special glass cleaner to clean all the oils off of the glass. This is the windshield seal. As you can see, as you bend it in one direction, it doesn't crinkle, and the other direction it does. That helps to indicate how you should actually install it. This here is a rubberized glued seam that is to be installed right in the smack in the center. You don't really see it here in this view very well, but it installs right in the middle. Here we have our primer. This is our 3M primer that we need to put on the perimeter of the windshield in order to make sure that it makes a really, really good adhesion of the polyurethane adhesive. So now we're just putting the gasket on and just pushing it around the entire perimeter of the windshield, and we are ready to install.
Okay, so now here comes the moment of truth. We've got the gasket installed. We've got our 3M adhesive. We've got some older adhesive that we're gonna finish up first, and then we're gonna just put in the new adhesive with our tip. The cut on the tip, I'll show you really quick later on, but it's a slit and then it's a cut off in order to get that bit of a more of a blunt look. And then you just come in at like a 75-degree angle and just go all the way around. Make sure that it's high and thick and continuous. And then you just lift it up, drop it in place.
So this is actually kind of an acquired skill that I'm still learning even as I go. You need to drag backwards as you're continuing to put constant pressure on the glue gun to let that glue out at a very even rate so that it stands really nice and high. The higher, the better. And this is a thick, high piece, which is, in my opinion, perfect. Some of you have a friend help you load this one on. Again, the seal is already installed. So you need to make sure that when you position this thing, you really only have one chance. And then once it's set right in position, you talk with your partner about it and you just kind of slowly push it down and then bam, there it is. It's good to go. So now you just need to make sure that all of the seal pushes into the cavity, which it will, inevitably will, and it'll look amazing. So take a look and see what this thing looks like now.
The corners are looking good. See, I just push down on that. Yep. Just push down that centerpiece. See, we'll fix that and report back in a minute. So this is fitting really nice. Really, really nice. Yes, it's a little dirty, but that all gets cleaned after the fact. The seal fits really nice on here. We actually used a roller and we rolled on the center edge. And what it did is it drove the seal, the wedge in between the windshield and the body. And it made a really nice look here. So I'm very happy about how this has turned out. We ended up having to put a clamp on here just to make sure that this piece doesn't bow out. But everything is looking really nice and straight, nice and true. And we just let it sit now. Now let's talk about the rear. So for the rear, we have to, we have clips that we need to install. Dan will be getting those clips shortly. We have a trunk that needs to be removed because there's no way that we're going to be able to install this with the trunk in place. There is a seal here. This is an NLA seal, and that seal actually installs on the trunk. We'll install that later on, and that seal goes kind of like in this little groove, and then that provides a gasketing material between the trunk and the windshield kind of evens it all out. But anyway, we need to remove this, and then we need to disconnect or unpack the rear windscreen and start applying our sealant. So let's get at it.
So now we take out the trunk lid. We got to take the trunk lid off, and we need to be able to compress those spring-loaded holders down. So we put some wood in there. Taking the garbage off the rear. Again, these are brand new, so they are completely perfect and unadulterated. Yeah, we kind of want to just test fit this really quick.
On top of that, and if that works, then that will be our.
It's resting on those little white pieces on the bottom of the trunk lid there, and we just want to make sure that it's centered and ready to go.
All right, so the windshield looks like it's going to fit just fine with our little spacers that we have on the bottom side. Our trim is here, and this looks like it's going to fit as well. Now, we have two different ways of doing this. There's clips that go around the perimeter, on the 3/4 of the perimeter of the windshield. We have to install our clips prior to installing the windshield. But the question is do we install the trim on the clips on the windshield prior to installing the windshield on the car?
So we've removed it and we started cleaning the mating surface. We're using some mineral spirits here to clean the location that we're going to ultimately be putting the primer on. And you can see that we're applying the primer here now. Just a very thin coat. Now this is interesting. This is the trim that goes around, and there's little notches in there. And those notches need to be set up and located and marked with a marker prior to installing the windshield. The reason that this is important is because there are little plastic glued, not glued, but double stick tape tabs that need to install on the windshield in those specific locations. Very, very specific, because that tab then actually interfaces with those trim pieces, and this is what it kind of looks like prior to installing. Again, I actually got much better on this rear windshield than I did on the front. And it just takes time. You just have to slowly go around and glue and make sure that that glue is really high. Very important, because the higher it is, the better adhesion it's going to get to the chassis side. But now that it's installed, this is a lot easier to do than the front, so I can do this one on my own. And you just kind of set it in place. This is kind of where it gets a little dicey. You gotta be careful. You have one try at this. That glue is very, very sticky, and it will get on everything if you're not careful. There it is. Nice. Fits perfectly now. And it's raised up a lot higher, so we know that that trim, when it's pressed into those clips, is going to look really good. It's going to fill in that gap really nice.
So now we're going to use this GC800. It's like a glass cleaner. It's a very expensive glass cleaner to remove all the oils, all the contamination on the glass, and make it look absolutely perfect.
This stuff is really good stuff. I mean, it was a very expensive bottle, but it is really good. And now we're trying to put this rear trim on, and there is a separate center piece that connects both of the halves together, and that is very important. You do not want to wait until to put that on. It has to be put on at the same time as those two halves. And then once you're good, you look at this, just hear the clicking. It just sounds so good when you're putting this thing on. It's a very satisfying feeling, very satisfying, part of the effort. And then now what we're doing is just putting the trunk lid back on. So we kind of relieve this pressure in the springs and get that trunk lid seal back on. Now that seal presses in that little slot on the back side of the trunk. It's an NLA part, unfortunately, no longer available. So we have to be really careful with the seal and the trunk. But, we easily got it on. Wasn't that hard? And then we put the trunk on into the slots on the springs, and we set it in place. We have to shim it properly so that the alignment of the trunk is in concert with the taillights, with the quarter panels, and of course, as you'll see in a minute, that gasket needs to sit on top of the rear windshield so that water does not get into the trunk. This seal, this whole setup really worked out well. I was very happy with how everything turned out. Overall, very, very good job.
You gotta tighten that little knob there and push it up against the glass so that the mirror doesn't shake anymore. I don't know why this camera's having such a hard time focusing, but that is good. And much better.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and comment on what you see here on this E30 M3 S54 build. Getting the glass installed was a huge plus. It takes a lot of work, a lot of finesse, a lot of planning, and a lot of preparation to get the front and the rear glass installed correctly the right way. So guys, thanks. My conclusions suck.